fastest show in sports.
Used to be we never heard about illegal sports gambling. Well, maybe every now and then we heard about it, but it wasn't that big a deal. Now it seems like we are awash in it every single day, from college basketball to the NBA, from college football to the National Football League, to Major League Baseball and every sport in between. We are now hearing about illegal sports gambling, as I said, almost every single day. The thinking was that when gambling was legalized, most of this would go away. The problem with it is nobody checked with the Mafia because they've been making money illegally for centuries now. They're good at it, and they're trying to be good at it again when it comes down to sports gambling. The biggest issue here is not necessarily that there is more illegal sports gambling, but the fact that in these cases, the athletes and coaches are now the ones involved.
The announcement of this indictment made by the New Jersey Attorney General here in Newark, which is the home of Port Newark also, where apparently this illegal gambling ring got started, and it is also where crime families are active, according to prosecutors.
Organized crime families seem to have a hard time breaking this old habit. So we're going to break it for them.
New Jersey's Attorney General talks about what investigators call a mob-related sports betting crime ring that processed and profited from some $2 million in illegal bets involving college sports. Detectives from the AG's office, New Jersey State Police, the FBI, and other agencies say that Lucchese crime family soldier Joseph Perna advised his son, also named Joseph Perna, in a gambling ring that began in New Jersey port facilities and spread. It focused on college sports. A dozen other people, including college athletes potentially participating in sports for which they solicited illegal bets, were involved, say investigators, who also say that both the wife and the ex-wife of Joseph Perna were involved, helping to cover up the illegal gambling. Alleged ring members face felony charges of racketeering, conspiracy, gambling offenses, and money laundering.
Subject to 10 to 20 years in state prison.
That's the word from prosecutors like her, who also point something else out. Sports gambling is legal in New Jersey, online and in other forums, just not this one by any means.
Any college student listening, yes, you can. If you're of age, you can gamble on your phones if you're in the state of New Jersey. You should not be gambling in a mob-backed operation. That's free parental advice.
Again, the Attorney General saying that the Lucchese crime family involved in this gambling ring, you may recall that is the same organized crime family mentioned in relation to an NBA-related gambling ring in New York that involved Hall of Famer Chauncey Billups and players Damon Jones and Terry Rozier. I asked the Attorney General if there might be some connection. His response, this is still under investigation.
Okay, we've got a lot to unpack here. First of all, let's start with the fact that the reporter got it all wrong. It is not the Lucchese crime family. It's the Lucchese crime family. Take that from somebody who grew up in New York City, who knows where all the twisted noses are, who's been there, who's befriended them, who's been in the neighborhoods before. It's the Lucchese crime family. Let's get that straight. Now let's talk about where we're going here with this New Jersey investigation. Word is that there are college athletes involved in the investigation, but they've not been named yet. That's something the NCAA is on to right now because they're trying to figure out which individuals and which schools may be affected. But it doesn't come as any shock whatsoever that college athletes are involved in illegal gambling. I mean, look at all we've seen, and not just from college athletes, but from other sports as well. In the NCAA, they banned 6 basketball players for gambling. Major League Baseball, we have the Cleveland Guardians there, with 2 players that are now involved in pitch rigging. The NBA, as mentioned, Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier, and others who are involved in game fixing. In the National Football League, they are restricting prop bets right now because they want to take away any of the possibilities that their players and coaches are going to want to get involved. In the National Hockey League, you have one athlete who has apparently scammed his girlfriend out of $50,000 in order to pay off his gambling debts. So this is rife throughout all the sports at this time. I have said many times that people are not aware that your favorite sport right now is very likely got players involved who are thinking about, who have, or who are going to fix games somewhere down the road for illegal gambling and illegal betting. It's simple. It's the juice. It's the ability to get involved. It's the excitement of being involved in all that and making a couple of bucks. Because you would think, why would these athletes do it? Most of them are making millions of dollars. Yet here they are, illegal gambling a lot of times, involved with the mob, just to make maybe what? $10,000, $20,000, maybe at most. Maybe they make $50,000. They're making millions. But you see, this is the money they stick in their pocket. They believe that this is free money. And I've heard this a million times before. They're going to tell you that it doesn't hurt anybody. It does. It hurts the integrity of the games. It hurts the other athletes involved. It hurts the franchises. And it hurts the fans. It hurts a lot of people down the lines. And let's not also forget that these people who are illegal gambling, what about their families that it's going to hurt? Their wives, their kids, their mothers, their fathers, their sisters, their brothers. This has wide-reaching implications. There is nothing to think that this isn't happening right now in every sport, because it is. You're going to ask me, how do I know? I know simply because I've been there. I know simply because I've been around these athletes my whole career, and I know what they do. You're dealing with a lot of these athletes who gamble anyway. Look, they've been gambling for decades. Major League Baseball players, when they were on the trains going from game to game, they used to play cards and gamble all the time. And they'd make it for a couple of bucks here and there technically. That was illegal, but they were still gambling. I mean, players are doing it all the time. It comes down to locker rooms. It comes down to hotel rooms. It comes down to flights. A lot of times when these players are taking air flights from place to place, there's a card game going on in the back. Coaches know about it. Trainers know about it. Team officials know about it. The leagues know about it. The players know about it. They've known about it for a long time, and they give it a wink and a nod because, oh, it's just a card game. It's no big deal. The problem with it is it leads to something else. Let's look at some of the issues that are involved here and some of, as I said, the truths behind sports gambling by players and coaches. First of all, we have to remember that many of these players are not that smart. They're really not intelligent human beings. They have been coddled their entire lives. Most of them are athletes who, from the time they were kids, even before teenagers, they were given the benefit of the doubt, and people let everything slide with them because they had great athletic talent. So they basically let them get away with anything. And in a lot of cases, there was no parental supervision. They turned these kids loose at camps, at schools, or wherever they went, and there was no parental supervision to stop them. So a lot of these players got involved in gambling on the side. A lot of them got involved in drugs, some violent crime. Pretty much, they're not intelligent. Look, my granny told me a long time ago, you shouldn't call anybody stupid because it's just rude. However, in some cases, we have to be honest. Some of these players are just rankly stupid. They do it because they feel they can get away with it. They do it because they're entitled. They do it because nobody has punished them throughout the decades, throughout their entire careers. Nobody's gotten involved and said, hey, you're doing something wrong. Maybe they did, but the player said, don't worry about it. I'm okay. My coach knows about it. My buddies know about it. Even my family might know about it. So they don't think it's a big deal. They are entitled. And it is that entitlement that leads to a lot of these problems later. As I said, it's not just gambling. But gambling then becomes part of it because the players are not that smart. In essence, yeah, they're stupid. Also, the players are entitled. As I mentioned, they have been entitled since they were kids. They get away with just about anything because they're allowed to, because of their immense athletic talent. You've seen it. We've seen this now for generations. It's nothing new. Look, I've covered college sports and high school sports along with pro sports, and I've been there. I've been on the college campuses where the players are completely entitled and enabled to do whatever they want, whenever they want, which has come down to a lot of violent crime in many cases on campus because they feel they can get away with it. Someone's going to cover up. Look, this starts in the educational process itself, whether it's in high school or college, where you've got players who are outstanding athletes. People give them a break. They give them great grades. They let them slide on tests or anything else because they can play basketball. They can play baseball. They can play football, hockey, whatever you want to call it. And because they help the school win. Happens even more at the college ranks. I mean, it used to happen, but now it doesn't happen as much because players don't give a spit about getting an education because all they are is basically hired guns to come in and play for pay. There's a couple of players involved, and I say a couple, but I mean there's a small amount of athletes that are actually there to get an education, the smart ones, but there's not many of them. Most of them are there because they think they're going to be professionals and they think they're going to make a tremendous amount of money. That comes to the next part. There is an inordinate amount of greed that is here. Many of the players came from poor backgrounds, from underprivileged backgrounds. Many of them came from broken families. Many of them came from having no families at all. So a lot of times they haven't had much in their lives. So when they get that first taste of getting something, that first free pair of sneakers, that first free dinner that they get, that first free plane ride that they get, whatever it is, they immediately think this is the way it is. And in a lot of cases, it is the way it is. I know this is difficult, and some people are going to be hammering me on this, and they're going to be saying you're generalizing. No, I'm not. I've seen this. It's happened. It happens everywhere. In every single college, you have players that are, well, maybe not every single college, maybe not Army, Navy, Air Force, and the Coast Guard or anything else, but in every single college, you've got players that are entitled, that are allowed to get away with it. They're greedy. They have been told that the most important thing is their being an athlete, helping their school win. And now the players see that when the school wins, the school makes millions, sometimes tens, maybe hundreds of millions of dollars. And that's why they want their share. They figure, I'm helping you make this. I'm going to go ahead and get my money as well. It's a circle of greed that comes around. And even though these players may be well taken care of, maybe they have great NIL deals, doesn't make a difference. They want more money. They want to be able to stash that a couple of $100 bills in their pocket. They want to be able to have it for whatever. For some, they use it for entertainment for their friends. Some use it for drugs. Some use it for sex. It doesn't, look, that's nothing new, and that shouldn't surprise anybody. It's the way society is. But it's an inherent amount of greed that is involved here, that these players are taught so they understand that, well, if others can be greedy, why can't I be too? And the third part of this is something that sort of alludes to what I had talked about already. Many of these athletes in college are strictly just immature. They haven't really been led by anybody. They haven't been taught by anybody. They haven't been helped by anybody. The only thing they've been helped in doing is being able to score a touchdown, throw a touchdown, score a goal, hit a shot, hit a ball, throw a ball, whatever it is, run faster, jump higher. They've been helped that way, but they haven't been helped in many ways in the basic issues of life. There used to be a joke that went around that no college athlete at a major program knew how to balance a checkbook. And in many cases, it was right. They had somebody else do it for them, or they just didn't care. One of the boosters would slip them a couple of $100, $500, $1,000 here and there. They'd take that money, they'd go out and spend it. That money disappeared. They didn't tell anybody about it. They weren't balancing checkbooks. Credit cards, they let somebody else take care of it. Now it comes down to balancing what goes on the phone. They can see their bank accounts, but a lot of times they'll take it in cash, and they never have to worry about it. It's an immature mindset because they have not been given the proper guidance and leadership by many of the coaches and the individuals involved in the administrations, because they're involved in making money just like anybody else. Look, the coaches are in there knowing that they've got to win, and that keeps their job, and that makes money. That makes money for the school. The players are going to make money. The players making money helps them make money, helps the school make money. It is all cyclical, and it is all very immature because these players don't know the value of a buck, and they don't care. And they're not being taught the value of a dollar. So if you take the immaturity about money, the greed that is incessantly there, the entitlement and the empowerment that is given these athletes, it's not a shock whatsoever, whether they're in college, whether they're now in the NBA, whether they're now in Major League Baseball, it doesn't make a difference. It started somewhere. The gambling issue is simply just there because it feeds that need, that want, that insatiable desire to win, damn it, and put a couple of bucks in my pocket. Cheating? I would cheat a little bit, but again, it doesn't hurt anybody when we all know it does. It's not a problem that's going to just go away. You know, I'm throwing this all out here. There's a lot of reasons why we have these issues involving athletes. But if you're going to ask me and say, all right, Ed, you just talked to us now for a while, what's the solution? I don't have one right now. I mean, all the leagues can do is punish these players. They can kick them out, make sure they never play again. But in many cases, that damage has been done. The cheating has been done. The gamblers have walked away with their money. They weren't able to stop it for whatever reason. Now, the NCAA was considering for a time having a rule in place where players and coaches could bet on professional sports. This rule was about that far from being installed. And all of a sudden, everything happened with the basketball players, with other athletes, where they saw the gambling issues, the DOJ getting involved, and they said, whoa, we better stop because we got to think about this now. How would it have looked for all of the gambling issues and all of the illegal gambling issues to come out? And the NCAA would have said, hey, it's not a big deal. If you're of age, you can go ahead and bet on professional sports. Are you kidding? The level of stupidity is incalculable in that sense. Because again, it's a matter of entitling and telling them, it's okay, don't worry about it. Do you think that the athlete will only bet on the pros? I mean, if they have a chance to do it, sure, they'll do it on their phones, but that then leads to other things because gambling is an addiction. Without question, undoubtedly, I have friends of mine who are great friends who are addicts. I mean, they can't stay away. I got a friend of mine who goes to the horse track almost every week, sometimes 3-4 times a week. Why? He's addicted. He's run through probably millions of dollars of his own money. He'll tell you that he wins every now and then, but he still comes up short. He's addicted to it. And these athletes and these coaches and the people in administrations, they get addicted to it as well, just like any of us, just like anybody. And I wish I had a way and an idea to stop it. If you've got ideas, get on the YouTube channel. Send me the comment. I'll read them. We'll go over them. We'll talk about them. I've talked to the experts many times over the years, did this as stories, and they just claim that the addict needs to get help. Well, right now, thanks to professional sports, college sports, everybody's gambling right now. They're feeding the addiction. They're making more people addicted. And the leagues want you addicted because they know the more you're addicted, the more you're going to gamble. And the more you gamble, the more money the gamblers make. The more money the gamblers and the platforms make, the more money the professional teams will make and the leagues will make. And even the players know the more money that they make down there is eventually going to filter through to them and pay their salaries. So they're addicting a nation. They're happy to do it. And they're happy to have you in there gambling. How we stop it? I don't know. But we have to realize it's here. And the chances are very, very good that as we speak, as you watch this right now, whenever it is, doesn't make a difference whether it's the day we're taping it or 6 months down the road. There's a very good chance that somebody in your favorite sport is illegally gambling, is fixing a game, is thinking about fixing a game, is being asked to fix a game, is maybe thinking about getting involved in fixing a game. It's very possible. It's very likely. The unfortunate thing is we got to deal with it. How we stop it, nobody knows.
Ed Berliner, the fastest show in sports.